Welcome to coverage of GP Atlanta. Maria Bartholdi here in the booth with Marshall Sutcliffe. It's the quarterfinals, Chris Fennell versus Noah Walker. And the players are underway. Chris,
sleeveless here for Fennell.
No fear. Narnum Cobra is the play.
He plays literally the worst card in his deck on turn 2.
Thriving Rats for Noah.
Chris Fennell is not playing green.
No.
He's just running a Narnum Cobra as a 2-drop. Things are going to get significantly better for him from there.
Yeah, we saw his draft earlier. If you're watching the stream, he drafted pretty great white-blue deck. He's going to get in there with the Cobra. Offering the trade with those rats. We'll see if Noah's interested.
I think he won't be. I think Chris Fennell would be very excited if that trade happened. Because looking at Chris's mana base, Noah has to be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, is that thing ever getting activated?
Yeah, they're having a little chat down there. Revoke privileges. Yep, so Noah did just take the hit. His rats will not be attacking.
Does leave him with 2 energy in case he has something to do with it later.
Well, he's going to live fast, gain 2 energy.
Make it 4.
Lose 2 life, yeah. Draw 2 cards. If I'm Noah, I don't know about you, Marshall, I'm pretty happy that my rats just got their privileges revoked.
I kind of am too, to be honest. You know, that's not one of his high impact plays. It's a good card, but it's nothing amazing. And, you know, Noah just drew a couple of cards. You got to figure that he's going to be able to find more. This is where, you know, I think you do just put the counter again on the Propeller Pioneer. It looks like he's not going to do that. But, you know, if you're trying to race, which it looks like what Chris Fennell's trying to do by using those revoke, you do want that extra 1 power in the air if you can get it.
Back to Noah.
It's pretty likely that Noah plays just something on the ground that's just going to trump the servo anyway. And there it is.
There it is. You love this card, Marshall.
I do. Oval Chase Daredevil is an early front runner for a card I'm really interested in picking up in a draft.
Chris just picked up a Cloud Blazer. He's going to get in there with a Propeller Pioneer. There we go. Gain 2 life, draw 2 cards.
All right, you get a little bit better look at what Chris Fennell's doing here. He started off with the Narnum Cobra of all things, but now he's doing what his deck's really all about.
Noah down to 12. It's a bit of a scary thing to face down, even just 4 power in the air. All right, so the Cobra can't block. Renegade Tactics. It's going to draw a card. In comes the Oval Chase Daredevil.
Noah offering trades for the Cloud Blazer. He should know that the blue-white deck is interested in returning that Cloud Blazer to hand or blinking it. Ooh.
What's better than 1 Oval Chase Daredevil?
Double trouble.
They certainly represent a lot of power,
Yeah,
if unchecked.
big hits. That is definitely something that Fennell did not want to see was, you know, just big, high-powered, easy-to-get-back creatures on the ground are pretty annoying when he's looking to try to block and keep the way clear in the air. Ooh, big attack here from Fennell.
Wow.
Oh, he's left a servo behind.
Daredevil trades off happily for the Cobra.
Yeah, and that happens a lot, you know, because if Noah has a way to get back his Daredevil, he's pretty happy to just trade it off for basically any card he can.
Glint Sleeve Artisan, the follow-up play for Christopher. Deciding what he wants to do with Fabricate here. Make another servo.
That makes sense.
Still 3 mana left to work with.
Noah's down to 8.
Passes back.
Just 2 more turns in the air for Fennell, and he can finish off Noah Walker.
Tapping 2 for Doomed Operative.
And he's passed the turn back to Chris.
It's just a 2-2. Yeah, he's really would like to see something like a furious reprisal here.
Oh, that would be insane.
Yeah.
He'll settle for a welding sparks or something along those lines if that's what he has. Chandra's Pyrohelix would be decent. Just take down one of these flyers, and all of a sudden that opens up the clock by double.
Yeah, it does. See if he has a response. Doomed Operative blocking the Glint Sleeve Artisan. There it is, Marshall. You called it. Welding sparks on the Cloud Blazer.
Yeah, this is risky business here for Noah Walker. He could have done this before. And if Chris Fennell had an acrobatic maneuver there, that would about be the game.
Oof. Ouch.
But he didn't.
No, it just takes 2.
Fennell, interestingly, has one in his pool. He did draft one. He's not playing it, though.
Aviary Mechanic.
Yeah, that was probably going to pick up the Cloud Blazer originally.
Yeah.
Now we get an idea maybe of why Fennell didn't put that +1/+1 counter on originally as well, is that he was planning on picking it up anyway with the mechanic. He may have had to change course in the middle of that line, and now we see it kind of coming to fruition at the end.
Ambitious Etherborn is going to bring a servo along with it for Noah. And Daredevil back to the hand. As the flavor text says, let me guess, you thought I was dead.
You thought I was dead.
Meanwhile, Chris just going to keep hitting in the air for 3 this time.
It's really important for Fennell. He was able to play a 3-power flyer after getting Noah down to 6. That means 2 turns, so Noah needs to find a removal spell, a way to gain life, or a way to kill Chris right now.
Taps 2. Giant Spectacle.
Yeah, this is Noah Walker special right here.
Sure.
We saw him win a game in the draft with this card.
+2, +1 in Menace.
Yeah, this is very high risk, medium reward. Not a great Magic card, let's be honest about it. But
No.
it can have a big effect on a game by sneaking in a bunch of extra damage that your opponent may not have anticipated, thanks to Menace and the extra power.
Here's where we find out if he does indeed have a spell in hand that can deal with that Propeller Pioneer. Red-Black certainly has the tools to do so.
Absolutely. Walker's all the way down to 3.
Yeah. See a Fragmentize on the servo.
That's pretty important because it gives him a lethal attacker in the sky, which he already had.
Yep.
But it leaves only 1 blocker back.
Oh, he did have a way to deal with it. Unlicensed Disintegration.
Kaboom. Also, Chris gets to find this out now because Noah's doing it in response while he still controls the servo to get in for 3 extra damage. This is going to put Noah to 1.
1. Passes back.
Can he get in for 9? He's got 6 in the hand here. Oh, this is a close
Built
one.
to smash would do it.
It would.
Oh, he's flicking those cards around so fast.
He also could just play a creature.
Oh, he's going to attack.
Oh,
Malthus
this is
Squad.
a huge one.
Servo. Back comes the Oval Chase Daredevil.
This is the turn. Fennell just needs to get one of these creatures out of the way temporarily.
Ooh. That was an interesting decision for him to attack with the Etherborn there.
Yeah, he put him on a 1-turn clock here, and he has 2 blockers. He figured, let's do it. He knows the risk he's taking, but it makes sense to take it because if he just sits there, he's going to die anyway. So, boom.
Walfish squad notably also has menace. Just going to take a look.
Oh,
Yep.
This is good news for Noah Walker.
Sure is.
In professional Magic circles, this usually precludes a concession of some sort. And what it is usually it's your opponent making sure that they had a good idea of what cards you had and had played in your library. That way they can maybe make better decisions when it comes to sideboarding.
Noah's going to block both of those servos.
Yeah, he figured it out.
Eddie Trail Hawk for Chris.
That's not good enough.
2 energy.
All Noah has to do is turn his card sideways.
There it is. Noah takes game 1 here against Chris Fennell.
Fennell's not happy with that. You know what's crazy?
What?
If he would have put that +1/+1 counter on the Propeller Pioneer way back on that early
He would have won?
he would have won that game. Yeah, that's how close it was.
Tiny decisions like that, Marshall, can make or break a game.
It's hard to say, right? Because, like,
it is.
You know, the little servo that he had did some work for him. Maybe got it in. Maybe prevented an attack from Noah. Who knows, right? You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But these little tiny decisions, little tiny, have big ripple effects on the rest of the game one way or the other.
All right, let's peek in here at Carlos Romao versus Thien Nguyen. We can see that Carlos did, in fact, add a planes to his deck, Marshall.
Okay. I'm going to actually grab the deck list from Romao here,
Sure.
Maria, and see if I can see how many different colors he ended up playing. Oh, Carlos.
Carlos has got a good suite of creatures down there on the battlefield. What?
He's playing 3 colors.
Is he really? Oh, actual what?
Yeah, so remember when we were talking about the Aetherborn Marauder and the Skywhaler shot as the cards that we were thinking maybe, but probably he'll just end up being green. Well, he's actually splashing for both.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
How many plains and how many swamps?
3 of each.
Okay.
And he's got 11 forests in the deck.
How many attune with ethers?
So he drafted 1.
He did.
He's not playing it.
Okay. Carlos, your ways are a mystery to me.
Yeah, he has
but I'm not in the top 8.
He has no Wild Wanderers. He does have that 1 Blooming Marsh in there as well.
Oh, that's true.
So that helps with the black. So he's got 4 black sources there. He did not end up playing that Aetherworks Marvel. I'm not really surprised at that, though.
Yeah, he's currently got an Arborback Stomper, Sage of Shayla's Claim, Long Tusk Cub, and Servant of the Conduit in play.
Yeah, Servant of the Conduit, of course, is the other way that he can fix his mana.
3 energy.
We got to get those creatures moved up front.
Meanwhile, Thien Nguyen playing red-white. Cards like Trusty Companion down there on the battlefield, Salivating Gremlins, Consul's Shield Guard, Eager Construct, Veteran Motorist in his graveyard, one of the staple cards of the red-white archetype. There we go. Here's blocks lined up by Carlos. Built to last from Nguyen.
I think it was an impeccable timing.
Oh, was it? Yes, it was, in fact. Thank you, Marshall.
Which is kind of rough because he still has to get 2 for 1 on himself.
Yeah.
Right? He needed to have his 3/4 crash in and the 3 damage just to get rid of the Stomper.
Riparian Tiger.
Boosh.
That's Servant of the
That
Conduit.
thing just trumps the board. I mean, look at that.
Yeah,
It's
it does.
just simply bigger.
Eager Construct coming in. Very
There's your Delta
suspicious.
Smash.
There it is. All right, we're going to head back to our first table. Chris Fennell versus Noah Walker. Noah up a game. Chris with an Eddie Trail Hawk in play. And underhanded designs from Noah.
Yeah, this could be a good start for Noah, or it could be a slow start for Noah, depending on how Chris can capitalize on it. If he just gets a bunch of flyers up in the air,
Fragmentize.
well, that works too.
Eddie Trail Hawk gets in there for 1.
Nice fragmentize there from Fennell.
Foundry Screecher from Noah. The Hawk will crash in, followed up by a Propeller Pioneer. Oh, see what he does.
This time it makes more sense to make the servo because he's already facing down a flyer. So if it's going to trade, it's going to trade whether it has the +1/+1 counter or not. Even if the Screecher sees an artifact or not, it's still enough to trade for the 3/2 Propeller Pioneer. So he's just going to make a servo instead.
He's holding a revoked privileges, is Chris.
Yeah, he's really in the tank here about if he should trade off or not.
Yep, he's going to take it. Oval Chase Daredevil, the play from Noah. We saw that card come back a number of times last game.
Yeah, he went for the trade there.
Its privileges are currently revoked.
Yeah, that's a really nice card against that. It's hard to get that thing in the graveyard on your own. There's not a lot of sacrifice outlets in this set. They're rare. So revoke is probably going to keep the Oval Chase Daredevil just stuck. And bad news for Noah Walker. The Eager Construct lets them both scry.
Right.
And Chris immediately put his card
Top.
back on top. He's like, keep it, love it, never let it go.
Oh,
it
never
pump faked
mind.
him. And that actually is the proper procedure there as well.
Is
Noah
it?
has to decide first.
Okay.
He's the active player. So that was Chris just looking at the card and then waiting for Noah and then making his decision, which is the way he should do it.
Eddie Trail Hawk comes in again. Cloud Blazer from Chris.
Bang.
Draw 2 cards, gain 2 life. Get a 2/2 flyer.
Make one commentator very jealous. All printed on there somewhere.
Very tiny text down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Eager Construct, still enough to get in there.
Yeah, eager indeed.
Noah taps 4. Malphus Squad. Getting a counter this time.
Okay, he's going to make 4/2 with Menace. It's been a real slugfest, this match.
It really has.
I've really enjoyed watching it.
Look, it's a long day here at the GP. You got to get your food when you
I'm
can.
kind of just bummed that he's not sharing with us. but
Chris attacking for 3 in the air.
What do you think he's eating? Bonbons?
Ooh, that would be nice. Glint Sleeve Art is in the play. There was some popcorn here at the venue earlier.
Oh, I'm aware.
Bringing along a Servo and an Arnhem Cobra. As we mentioned earlier, Chris cannot activate that card in his deck.
No, it's just filler for him. It's just, he basically just needed a 2-drop is what I'm assuming. I didn't actually watch him lay out his deck, but that's why you'd see a card like that in this deck. He just did it for curve purposes.
Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. Noah will draw a card. And pass the turn back.
He really wants to get in there with the Malphus squad, but doesn't look good.
No, those servos line up pretty good blocks against it.
Exactly.
Another Fragmentize.
Jeez, he's just kind of mowing everything down. I wonder if he had that in his hand at the beginning of the game. We saw him immediately snap off underhanded designs with it.
Oh, absolutely.
I like this attack
Here
from
we
Chris
come.
a lot. He is perfectly willing to throw away a servo to get in for 8 damage if that's what Noah wants to do. He'll also trade off basically any of these ground creatures for the Malphus squad as well. Chris went undefeated in day 1 with a pretty ragtag deck. He said he gave it about a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10.
Oh, really?
It was medium. Yeah, it's kind of his specialty. I teased him about it because he does that so often. Just pieces together kind of junky limited decks, but just runs them up into undefeated days. It really is his specialty.
Welding Sparks from Noah will take down Cloud Blazer. And a servo exhibition from Chris will create 2 more servos. Yeah, Noah's got to live fast here. Draw some cards.
Yeah, he might be doing the other half of that card pretty quickly.
Marshall, of course, referring to Dai Young.
And he had just
Yes.
done that.
Chris takes that game, tying things up 1-1 here in the quarterfinals. Whew, we're going to get a game 3.
Game 1 was pretty close, and that one looked close for a short while, but then it kind of turned in Chris's favor, and he never really looked back.
Yeah, if you have some flyers that are being left unchecked.
Yeah, and it's hard because, Noah needed specific cards there, and instead he was playing cards like Live Fast, which take up your mana, lower your life total, and often don't find you what you need because you've used up so much of your mana. When you're under a lot of pressure, it's more of a desperation act than anything.
We can see Revoke Privileges in Christopher's deck, too, really doing work kind of in more ways than one on that Oval Chase Daredevil.
Yeah, that's a really clean answer to it. It's cheaper. It completely locks it up so that it can't do anything, and it keeps that recursion loop from happening for Noah.
Both players seem to be having a good time here in the top 8, and why not? Top 8 of a GP. Which side of the table would you rather be on in this matchup, Marshall?
It seems very close to me.
Yeah, it does, actually.
Both of the games have had things go right for both players, but from what I've seen from Chris's deck, I think I prefer his. I just think the late game's a little bit better than what Noah's doing, even though Noah's is good. It really is good.
Yeah, Noah's deck, from the looks of it, doing exactly what what that color pair wants to be doing. Playing some artifacts, playing some aggressive creatures, Oval Chase Daredevil, getting itself back from the graveyard when you play artifacts.
Right. One of the interesting cards I see in Noah's deck, I'm curious if he has left it in post-board, is Fretwork Colony.
Oh.
Yeah, which is a really nice little 2-drop. It gets a +1/+1 counter on your upkeep also. You lose a life. Downside is that it can't block. Starts out as a 1/1. But the interesting thing is that it scales fairly well as the game goes on. The reason why I'm asking if he'd put it in or not is because if it gets its privileges revoked,
it's pretty bad.
It's awkward.
Thriving Grubs already on the table for Noah Walker.
And really, blue-white is the nightmare matchup for Fretwork Colony, because
it is.
Even if they don't revoke its privileges, it can get malfunctioned, or it can get bounced after, right when it starts to really become relevant.
Follow-up play Foundry Screecher. Those Grubs already have a counter. Nice aggressive little curve from Noah. 2-drop into 3-drop.
Yeah, very solid. He's already hit for 3, and he's on the play.
Glint Sleeve Artisan will make a servo. Here we see a Weld Fast Monitor and an attack from Noah.
You can see why Noah would want to attack here. The Weld Fast Monitor can get Menace.
Yes.
And that card gets better and better the fewer cards that your opponent has. So if the Grubs end up trading off for the Glint Sleeve Artisan, fair enough.
Yep.
And now Chris needs to play something else, and then maybe even just to get a double block on the Weld Fast Monitor. Though we do see that Noah has missed his land drop for the turn, Maria.
Yes, he has. Played that Monitor pre-combat as well to pump up his bat.
Indeed.
Cultivator's Caravan.
Okay, that's pretty good.
The play from Chris. Can tap for mana. Enough to cast that Aviary Mechanic.
Yeah.
Any color. 5/5 as well. Crew 3. Not too shabby.
Just a big turn here for Noah. I think he's just going to Welding Sparks away the mechanic and just go for the throat here.
Yeah, here he comes.
Yeah, the thing is, he would have loved to have tried to set up a 2-for-1 with that. If he had an additional land, he could have given his Monitor Menace, attacked with both. If Chris goes for the double block, then he can Welding Sparks and he gets to kill the servo for free. But he didn't hit his land, so he just decided to get aggressive, knock out the 2-2, and get in that attack.
Cloud Blazer for Chris.
Oh, geez.
Puts him back up to 10s.
This could be where things start going wrong. Well, maybe I spoke too soon.
Unlicensed disintegration here.
And you're going to see a 5-5 get equipped up.
Yep.
Now, if Noah still doesn't have a land. Man, he just missed 3 damage again because of this land. Wow. Smart play from Fennell, taking advantage of Noah Walker's mana issues. Noah's trying his absolute hardest to close this game out as soon as possible and not let Chris stabilize.
Yeah, Chris has got to deal with that Foundry Screecher, though. I think I see an Ether Trade Winds in his hand. Perhaps a Tezzeret's Ambition. Currently not enough to crew the Cultivator's Caravan in play for Chris. Taps 3. Thinking about it. Fabrication module. Passes the turn back. Let's see if Noah's found his land.
Hasn't needed it much, though. If he would have found it last turn, he could have got in for an additional 3 damage. A pretty big deal when you're talking about having a lethal flyer here.
Yeah, he's going to give it Menace, and I think we're going to see some trade wins happening, potentially.
Yeah, Chris really has to.
Because he currently can't block something with Menace.
Screecher and the Monitor kind of best friends for life here.
Yeah. They each have one half of the necklace.
Right.
Maybe he's considering which to return.
Definitely.
If Noah doesn't have another land, can't replay it. But Chris Fennell really up against it here.
Yeah, this is a critical juncture in this match. We're in game 3. And Fennell absolutely has to.
Look at him.
Like you said, if Noah doesn't have an additional land in hand and nothing else to do, Fennell will be at 1. And he will be at 1. He has to take the 3 damage here either way. And that means he's going to have to play the Ether Trade Winds out ahead of time. He's going to pick up the module. And I guess you just bounce the Screecher, since at least there's the dream of blocking the Monitor, where if he doesn't have a flyer, the Screecher, especially if Noah has another land, will just kill him.
He's going to bounce the Screecher. And he has another land.
So important, by the way, about when to play your lands in certain junctures of the game.
Yes, it is.
Now, it didn't really matter there because Chris needed to bounce one or the other, but the fact that Noah hadn't played a land could have been super important to Chris's decision. Again, in this case, it was just he either has it or he doesn't. But
right.
That was information that Chris, was really trying to parse through. Well, what if he misses his land drop? I think we're going to see Noah win this thing.
Yeah, 2 threats on the table.
And he's going to need something really impressive. That's not it.
Okay. Tezzeret's Ambition. Draw 3. He left up a Plains. Cultivator's Caravan, of course, though, can tap for any color of mana.
I just don't think there's anything he can find.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do there. Noah Walker takes it here in the quarterfinals, 2-1. Congratulations to Noah Walker.
Noah's playing these aggro decks real well today.
Yes, he is.
And he's jamming.
All right, we're going to take a look at this match here between Cash Turner and Matt Frank. Cash currently up a game. Some celebration going on in our feature match area there for Noah.
So it looks like Matt You can see he's blue-white.
Cash
Ooh.
Turner appears to be white-black.
He's got an Aether Squall Ancient in his
does
deck.
he?
Yeah, he does. And 3 Thriving Turtle. Ooh, and a Torrential Gearhulk.
Ooh, spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Rush of Vitality here for Cash. We can currently see he's got a Herald of the Fair in play as well as an Aviary Mechanic. Wearing some goggles, as you should as a mechanic.
You said it earlier today, safety first.
Indeed.
Yeah, just black-green here for Cash. Or excuse me, black-white for
Okay.
Cash. Seeing if he's got any big bombs in the deck here. Well,
Matt Franks figuring out what to do. He doesn't seems to have a malfunction. He's going to play a Propeller Pioneer, though. Pass the turn back after making a servo.
well, he's got a Kambal Consul of Allocation.
Okay.
It's probably his best card.
Here come his 2 creatures. Trades. Servo jumps in front of the mechanic. Just 3 land to work with for Cash.
By the way, Cash up a game here.
Glint Sleeve Artisan is the play. Decides to give it a counter.
Cash doing a lot of work this game with only 3 lands. You see Matt's up to 5. Now
Yeah.
make it 6. He's got double the lands that Cash has. Should be a lot to work with.
Dakara Peafowl is the play for Matt, as well as a Thriving Turtle. Gets a couple of energy. Cash immediately draws a land and plays it. Iron League Steed, a 2/2 with haste, fabricate 1. Swing.
Good attacks. He's going to get in for 3 one way or another.
Matt lining up his blocks here. Turtle goes down.
Matt taking his time there. I mean, Cash is tapped out. Had already played a land.
Yeah, like you said, Marshall, he's got more lands than Cash, but Cash's board presence looking a little better right now.
Yeah, interesting. You know, the decision there was, do I chump block with my turtle? And he decided to. He's going to malfunction the steed.
Pass the turn back. Snare Thopter the draw for Cash. Also holding a Propeller Pioneer and a Visionary Augmenter. Yeah. Cash just turns this guy sideways.
Yeah, worked before.
Take 3.
Seeing a Propeller Pioneer down there?
Yep.
That's what I'm seeing too.
Looks like it's going to be the play. Trying to decide, I think, between that and the Visionary Augmenter right now.
They both have clean attacks. This is where you would almost certainly want to put the +1/+1 counter on the Propeller Pioneer once again.
Yeah, just to put down more pressure on Matt.
Exactly. That 1/1's going to have a tough time getting through, but the 3 power in the air can really matter.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, get some goggles.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still going to
Nice.
just make it a big flyer, but I did forget about the goggles being able to jump over. That might have changed the decision, but it looks like it didn't for Cash.
Back over to Matt. Just a P-foul in play at the moment.
It's pretty tough, Matt. We've been on this game for a few turns, and he just hasn't. He's kind of yet to do anything impressive, Cash looks like he started out in the lead and has been riding that lead the whole time.
Yeah, Matt's had to throw away some creatures just for blocks.
Yeah.
Well, here we see a bomb. Saheeli's artistry.
Oh, wow. So he gets to copy a creature.
And an artifact.
An artifact. And, of course, it can be an artifact creature that he copies as well. So he can have a Dukar, a P-foul, plus another one. He can also make a Glint Sleeve Artisan.
Looks like he wants to make a Propeller Pioneer.
Okay, make a Propeller Pioneer to block that one. And then he also could have a...
Is he copying the goggles?
I think he just wants a P-foul.
Copy the goggles.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, because he couldn't profitably block the Pioneer with the goggles on. So he's going to make his own.
He's going to make his own. I was hoping that Dukara P-foul could join the crew.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like this.
No fear from Cash.
No, he must have something.
Oh, they're just going to trade.
You still get to keep the goggles there. Let's make sure those get back on the battlefield. I don't know where they went. Somebody dropped their glasses. There
they are. Yeah, Saheeli's artistry. What a card.
It's a really good card, though. Is it actually going to get Matt Frank out of this mess?
He appears to still be in one. Here comes a Visionary Augmenter. Goggles, attach. Deciding whether or not to give it some counters or make some servos. What are you most inclined to do here?
I think I would prefer to make servos, generally speaking, in this spot, because that thing's already pretty big and can attack into the P-foul, and then you can just go so wide that like even a single blocker here from Matt won't matter at all. Where, if Matt does play something big-ish here, he will have stabilized the board.
Yeah.
And if you just go super wide, you can actually just build out a board to get him there. Oh, man.
Glassblowers Puzzle Knot.
Man, Matt's deck just does not seem to be cooperating with him very much here. He just needs some creatures to add to the board, and instead he's got a Puzzle Knot here.
Scry 2, get 2 energy. Not really where he wants to be right now. One on top, one on bottom.
Okay, well, that's
Not
good
sure
news
what that
for
was.
him. Oh, but wait, there's more. Okay.
Weld Fast Wingsmith. Get some goggles.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, this is a scenario that I just described where now Matt has played another big blocker, and Cash doesn't really have great attacks unless he has removal spell, pump spell, something like that.
That Wingsmith of 4/5 currently. Snare Thopter in hand for Cash. Matt cannot currently pay to give the P-foul flying.
Oh, Snare Thopter's big deal, though.
Yep. Once he can pay, that bird can block pretty well, but not this turn. Now he needs to think about how much he wants to send in.
Yeah, it's interesting. If Cash would have made the 2 servos, he actually would just be winning this turn. He gets in for 3 in the air. If he would attack with everything, he would get in for 3 in the air. The 2 creatures on the ground would have to get blocked. He would get in for 2 with the Aviary Mechanic, 2 with the servos. That's 4 plus 3 in the air is 7.
You're right.
Now, he's not swinging for lethal here, so Matt Frank will get another draw step. And remember, he did put a card on top of his library.
He did.
With that scry. So if it's a really good one, we might still have a game.
Cash currently up a game.
Believe that he may have double blocked the Visionary Augmenter here.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
1, 2. Down goes the P-foul.
Bad bird. Take 3. Yeah, let's not forget that, boys. All right.
Yeah, he doesn't want the P-foul to have the option to block the Snare Thopter next turn.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Moving the goggles over onto it.
Things still looking very good for Cash here.
Wondering what card Matt put on top of his library.
Let me see if he has a Fumigate.
Yep, that's been the
Is that what you were
look for
thinking
of the
about
day.
too?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
He does not. Not in his deck.
Oh, he's going to scry 2 again.
Well, this is probably good news for Cash Turner
Was
that
it-
he's not just doing something amazing right off the bat.
Is it confiscation coup?
For next turn, that might help. If he has nothing here, he's dead. 3 creatures attack, including a lethal Snare Thopter in the air.
Here they come. Matt extends the hand. Cash Turner takes it 2-0 here in the quarterfinals. Cash headed to the semis. Wow.
So let's look at our bracket here, Maria.
Yeah.
So we had Noah Walker, Cash Turner. We'll find out about Carlos Morale versus Thien Nguyen. And we'll find out about Geddes Cooper versus Ray Perez as well.
Wow. Great stuff here down in the feature match area for the quarterfinals here at GP Atlanta.
Ready to take your game to the next level and start on the path to the Pro Tour? Rise to the challenge and test your skills at a local preliminary Pro Tour qualifier. To find an event near you, visit magic.wizards.com/pptq. Kaladesh is now available on Magic Duels. Build endless deck combinations with more than 1,000 unique cards. Play through hours of story with 50 campaign missions. Play Magic Duels free today on Xbox One, Steam, iPad, and iPhone.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Tim Willoughby, joined by Hall of Famer Frank Carsten, and the players, well,